Well, folks, I'm just out in Springfields, Manchester. I will upload the BBC video from last night of the regional news. What is utterly disgusting, comparing the Manchester Arena terrorist attack to coronavirus 19. Right, well, I'm just going to read this here to you, what's on my phone. I've got my earpiece in, so it's reading it to me. By all means, use the service to help people who are struggling, yes. But do not compare a virus to the terrorist attack. Oh no, two totally different things. One is a virus which we have no control over really, and the other is someone who purposely did what they did for a reason, and in the process killed 22 innocent people who were mainly innocent children going to see their idol and their dream, and injured hundreds if not thousands of others who have irreparable injuries and scarring memories of that night that will stay with them for the rest of their lives. And now the BBC says that they find that there is no harm done in what they've said. Sorry folks, but I totally disagree with the BBC. What they said is a disgrace and not a joke, and they should be made public, should be made to apologise publicly to all the victims of this, because in 20 days it is going to be the anniversary, the third year anniversary, and it's been 3 years, folks, since I lost my eyesight. Two life-changing things happened to me in 2017. I lost my eyesight, then in November my daughter was born. Two very life-changing things, folks, and I've got to live with that for the rest of my life. The night, what I seen that night. I am struggling, but I am trying to keep strong at the same time, folks. And for the BBC to reply back, I'll just get the message up here now. Let's go to my album. This is the reply back from Mr. Jim. Get his full name up now, Jim Clark. From Mr. Jim Clark, of the head of the BBC. Yeah, Mr. Jim Clark, the head of it. Thanks for your email. I have to say that I didn't think it was offensive. Well, sorry, it is very offensive, Mr. Jim Clark. They were just making the point that just as a lot of people were affected by the arena bombing, and many will be affected by losing relatives or working in the front line. Yes, a lot of people may die and have died from the coronavirus 19, but how is it not offensive comparing a terrorist attack that killed 22 innocent people, mainly children, who never got to see their dreams come true, whose parents would never see their children come home that night? How is that not offensive? It's an utter disgrace to compare the two together. They're not the same, never have been and never will be. The BBC need to apologise for this, because it's an utter disgrace. Anyway, rant over. Go and follow me on Instagram and YouTube, folks. Share the love. One love, one heart, one nation. And just remember, folks, love always wins. No matter what, folks, love wins. Love always will win. Love has always won. Over hate, over wars, love always wins. To only hate a race only leaves space to discriminate and generates hate. One love, one heart, love everyone the same. Peace and love from the Blind Explorer 2226. Go and follow me on Instagram and YouTube. Peace and love. Share the love, folks, at these hard times. Look after your elders, look after your neighbours. Go and ask them, knock on the window and ask them if they need anything from the shop when you're going to the shop. Ask your elders in your area, in your community. Go and ask them if they need any shopping or any help with anything. Share the love. One love, one heart, one nation from the Blind Explorer 2226, folks. Peace and love. Share the love. Peace out.
Now, a charity which was launched following the Manchester Arena bombing is offering online mental health help during the lockdown. Over 400 specially trained therapists are helping anyone who is struggling. We asked for your questions to therapist Susan Darker-Smith from the Trauma Response Network. So I began a little earlier by asking her one for Suzanne, who's working from home, missing human contact, and is worried about her job and what the future holds.
I think it is a difficult time for a lot of people. And I think the biggest worry is actually anticipatory anxiety. We just don't know what's going to happen next. So when we worked with some of the young people from the Manchester Arena bombing, one of the things that we found was that a lot of people were more anxious about what could happen next. And we expect the same to be true of COVID-19. We don't actually know what's going to happen. So the unknown is perhaps as anxiety-provoking as what's going on today.
Rachel has written to us. She says she struggled with her mental health in her 20s, but she's had professional support and she's been much better in recent years. But she says that the lockdown has many parallels to her experience of depression, and she's worried that she might relapse. What advice can you give her to help manage those fears?
There is self-help material out there to do with preventing depression relapse, and that might be very helpful. I believe that the NHS usually do have some self-help material available as well. I would also say you're welcome to actually self-refer to one of our groups as well, and that might be helpful. And perhaps looking at any form of social interaction online or whatever, that could also be helpful.
Avril is working from home. She says she prefers it because she's an introvert and it's actually been good for her mental health. Now she is dreading going back to work and wonders what advice you might have to help her to deal with that.
What I would say again is, if there's fear of adjustment, again, it's probably anticipatory anxiety, and to look at what you're most afraid of and to perhaps look at steps you could take to make that manageable.
This is a difficult time for children, of course. Many parents will have been quite surprised to hear their children say to them that they actually want to go back to school, presumably because they're missing their friends. I know I'm certainly in that position. What advice can you give to parents to help them to look after their children and keep their children's spirits up?
Children are potentially the greatest affected from the COVID-19, not because of the physical health issues, but because of the mental health impact, which could be seen as lifelong. I think there will be senses of loss, senses of confusion, senses of acute stress, and a sense of not knowing what's going to happen next. There are a number of resources out there which can help children, and there are a number of free books and songs and literature available again for children and teenagers to help with this transitionary phase.
And although what you're offering is online, it has to be said there's still a first port of call for many people will be go to your GP, because they will be able to access resources for you.
Absolutely. GPs, again, can actually do an overview of mental health provision, of what's available. They will be the first to be aware of what's available in your local NHS area as well, because different NHS services offer different services overall. So they will be aware of that information for you.
Susan Darker-Smith, thanks very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Now, just to let you know, on Monday, the president of the Bolton